Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Rangru, hello.
And folks, more Season 8 Division 2 coverage of SD2. We're here on Shchedrin. Rang, who do we have? What are they bringing?
On the left-hand side in the blue, we have Homer playing 28th Jager with a balanced income, and right-hand side in red, we have HerrRobert playing this 126 Mountain Corps with a Maverick income.
You know, as you see the Boston kind of swoop on through, do you remember the cancerous days of early recon? We're going to spray and pray 12-7s at the crossroads.
Oh, yes. Oh, right on the release of the game,
yes.
When like the P50 run was busted. Yeah, it was all you would do, because it was just so... Thank God they patched it earlier, but they really sort of catched it even earlier, to be blunt.
Well, we're having a kind of a weird, nice little fight here in the northern side. We have Gordon Snapiris, we have 184s, Jaeger Scharfschützen. This is a bizarre firefight.
Yeah, both sides has brought on the machine guns, snipers, and assault cannons, and they're just duking it out like a bloody Napoleonic battle.
Yeah, and honestly, it's fascinating. But at the same time, the addition of that P40 tells me that Napoleon wasn't ever going to plan for that one. Getting obliterated to the northern side. And the northern flank is very, very dire already. Down to the south, we're having a little bit of the kind of standard, infantry bashing into each other in that town. But though we have seen a recent kind of playthroughs, recent casts on this map, when we have one side completely control the town with nary an eye blink. I don't think we're going to have that today.
No, both sides have invested quite a bit, and between the Sturmjägers and naval Chicago typewriter squads, pretty much, it's just a lot of firepower. I mean, both sides playing very nasty infantry divisions with very bloody good infantry available to them. Very good CQC. It's probably going to be a bloodbath down there.
I love the fact they called the Chicago typewriter. I will say, actually, we're going to have another come back to that in just a second. P40 making a run at a Focke-Wulf, and this northern hill is just erupting in death. This 50 mil mortar is desperate to try to go and stem the bleeding, because wherever the Russians go, the Germans die. But yeah, you're saying, so the Chicago typewriter, love that. At the same time, I gotta be a little bit worried because the Chicago typewriter, as you continue to call it, I continue to call it for that matter, still doesn't have great range.
Nope. And that's the one problem, is you need to micro those troops effectively to actually get within range. And the Sturmjägers, if they can stay out of 100 meters, but within 300 meters, as you can see, they can make short work of a lot of infantry.
Yep. Well, the Gorno Strelky's right over here trying their damnedest to go and support the Sturmjägers, but the Sturmjägers, again, just so much better. I'm sorry, those squads are just sick by comparison.
Yeah, they are very well equipped. And he's definitely going to need some dubs down south, because up north it is not looking good at all for Homer. Robert has completely secured the hill. He's taking heavy casualties doing it, but Homer's taken heavy air casualties, as apart from a bunch of sniper elites, he doesn't really have a whole much...
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, Sniper Elite, you can't just kind of, throw a rock and have the machine gun fire the wrong direction here. They're getting cut to pieces.
Yeah, out in the open. I don't think any amount of 360 no-scopes is going to save him. No, maybe the Focke-Wulf might.
I was going to wonder that myself, and yep. No farmhouse, no machine gun, and the house has a sympathetic explosion off to one side. But eager to return the favor, P40 down south, he's attacking holy ground. Yikes. And those Jaegers are quite holy, or full of holes at least.
Yes. Definitely felt the Lord and Savior all around him.
Yeah, there was a firefight, that's for damn sure.
Yeah. Also seen in the lungs, it's been a little bit bloody here. HerrRobert trying to make some progress, but Homer finally getting in those Jaegers in CQC, and those Gornos are going to have a bit of a bad time.
Well, and that's the last thing I was going to call out over here, too, is that, yeah, we also have the knee mortars, the German knee mortars. These plucky little things are just so damn good. Oh my gosh, like, I want so badly to be angry about these things from the Soviets and the Germans, but they're so freaking good.
Yeah, 50 mil mortar or small mortar matter is definitely in right now. They are such useful units for 15 points for the ability to scare off SMG troops without having to get close to throw satchel charge. Sign me up.
Now, if you mortar your own troops, that would be a problem. Thankfully, he does not. He stops them just short.
Yeah, I like to use that to clear the forest. Now he's forced HerrRobert out into the open here. And if he was to move up to the edge of the forest, he probably could just gun them down.
I dare say that's what he's got in mind, sir. Now, the only thing I think I don't like about the Jaeger squads is the fact that there's 7 MP40s, because you're never going to get close enough to use them.
Yeah, they require a bit of micro. They're honestly, like, fantastic for a 20-point squad. Yeah, like, especially for a vanilla division, they're definitely a bit of a sleeper here, I'd say.
Fair. That's fair, yeah.
But they are difficult to use, because, you know, those 2 G43s are frankly useless. You basically have to either turn off the machine gun if you want to use some CQC, or you can turn it back on. In this case, as we're seeing here, to force back the Morskaya.
Well, they gotta get rid of those guys quickly, because there's gonna be 6 squads going the other direction. Morskaya Komroti, guys at Gornos, and is that another? Is it 2? No, okay. For some reason, the Morskaya Komroti was doubling or trebling up. Northern Hillside, the firefight continues. A second knee mortar is being brought on in, which means that more and more pinpoint barrages, and actually this might be what he needs to turn this around up here.
Yeah, it is pretty close quarters now, bunched up, I should really say. So those 50 mils can get their money's worth. You know, he's going to need more infantry to throw into that sacrificial meat grinder if he wants to get any accurate target hits.
Yes, but also the spread he can make he can have that work for him though here too. So, because we're looking right now, like, yeah, the southern 50 mil is able to see an awful lot, but he also has a recon plan up and over.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Who needs to send in troops to die when you can just have a flyboy fly around and radio to you? Oh, yeah, the bikers are over here.
You're missing. Drop your fire.
Yeah. Down south we have seen an off-map artillery strike here from Robert, and he's following up the push right afterwards with his infantry. Great play, capturing both flags, and he is in a pretty good position down south to really push quite heavily here.
That 203 had an awfully long range to call that artillery strike in. I feel like so often we see guys who have to bring in their artillery observers, and they are practically kissing the front lines, and after that they pretty much kiss their bums goodbye. So I admit I'm quite surprised by not the passivity of the positioning. I don't know. Incredible.
He's been very careful with it, because I believe he only has his artillery tab is that literal single 203mm, so he really doesn't want to lose it to a flipping Fokker Wolf flying about.
That does seem fair. Now, 1311, it was 1410 a little while ago, if memory serves. And a part of that's because we have that giant schnoz being poked into the line. Honestly, if I look at the map as it is right now, it looks like a cartoon character. But and down south too, the mouth of this cartoon character is slowly getting punched in. This isn't going to be something that happens, super quickly here, obviously. But piece by piece, I'd say that there is potential, especially when B-Phase comes around and we start getting off maps as well as the Nebelwerfer. Potential for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely what Homer needs, is off map and just heavy artillery fire, just to try and route out the southern town position as well as the northern hill position. He just needs a whole bunch of bloody explosives going off at once, and then rushing up the Jaegers to, take the ground. But so far, Homer's done pretty good, considering he is playing balance. He has not been so much on the back foot too much. Just losing by +1 bleed isn't too bad. Once we get into B phase, things get a bit dicey for him. But if he does survive till C phase, it's, the classic balance first Maverick dynamic, you have double the income, which means double the dudes and double the boom.
So I have one issue with what you just said. Is he really rushing the Jaegers, and he's more like German eating. You know,
yeah, you have a very good point. I have to retract my statement.
It's just a curiosity more than anything. So Jaegers in the meantime, these again, northern side, those mortars have done a good amount of work. And actually with the Scharfschützen and the 184, that Russian Zist, the Russian 45 mil, not the Russian Zist, excuse me. About not what I'm aligning it by calling it 45 mil that. But with all that firepower, I think we could see a resurgent push to the northern side.
Yeah, I feel like he really, personally, he just needs a bit more extra firepower. Those 50 mils need to be firing right now to pick off these squads which are being spotted. Mm-hmm. But alas, they are not. The 45 mils, yeah, actually proven to be an absolute champ in the fire support row. It may not be a big caliber cannon, but it shoots bloody fast.
It certainly does. Now, southern... Ooh, wait. The other off-map is... Okay, wait. Did he bring the off-map the entire way up?
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
He went for a bit of a drive. That is weird. He only has one, so...
But that's a sleeper phenomenal move. You're not prepared to have this kind of artillery strike to the northern side. The artillery's in the south. You got hit in the south. I would get in the north.
Yeah.
This is... I love this play.
Yeah, and he's going to catch a lot of these Jaegers out in the open here. And that should be enough to force back his push.
And unfortunately, 50 mil is firing now, as opposed to about 30 seconds ago when they were necessary. And the first kaboom shall be arriving. Yep. And that's the end of that push. Yowza. That's gonna hurt.
That was the perfect dead-on hit, right? Yeah. And then HerrRobert can bring in his infantry once again to clear up the hill.
Right now, with that artillery strike, all I can hear is like the Final Fantasy victory thing. It's like that.
Then, I mean, Robert is actually in a very good position now, heading into B phase. He's got that 15-9. He's still controlling not completely controlling, but controlling the flag of the opposing lung. And yeah, I don't feel like he's gonna ever get pushed out of that town unless Homer can bring in the off-map. But that's what Homer needs. He needs the off-map, he needs an Eberurfa, he needs these Focke-Wulfs to really come in clutch.
And the thing is that right now he's being rocked on his heels everywhere you look. You know, I'm not really sure this is kind of like he's out of this just yet, but let's just say that Homer's got a real odyssey to deal with before we can call this a victory.
Yeah, Robert's been doing a very good job of playing all flanks of the map, which definitely makes it harder when you are lower on the income bracket in B phase.
Now, it is worth mentioning that the lung push, which seemed so good, has taken a bit of a kick in the teeth just for the moment. And I truly mean just for the moment. We do have a couple of leads that could be swung around to start supporting a push into there. And really down to the southern side, I'm surprised there hasn't just been an A move outside of the town, because he could throw all of this forward and take 2 or 3 flags, I would argue, pretty easily.
Yeah, I think it's just a lack of information.
Yep.
He doesn't know how dug in the Germans are, and the Germans haven't managed to germinate much in that town.
Very, very good. You mean they've taken root, is what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, I completely agree with you.
He does have the recon boss flying around up north.
Yeah.
So he still has that alive, which is a very important asset tool.
Well, and he can call in a second one if he needs to. Ooh, and turnabout is going to be fair play, as these guys, unfortunately, now their caution is going to work very much against them in the southern town. Check that out.
Oh, I do like that call-in from Homer. He doesn't have he's bringing in the infantry reinforcements now. And yeah, he's gonna really have to time his Jaeger push quite nicely, but he's taken some casualties. That's a very good strike from the P40.
True. The Focke-Wulf is not going to do anything about it, just because the Focke-Wulf is just so damn slow by comparison.
Yeah.
But hey, got a cute job there, kid. 1 Jaeger squad to the north and a Panzer Jaeger, and a much maligned, but just kind of very much sitting in the back Stug, desperate to hold on to things. And yikes, southern side, that artillery strike is devastating. Look at that. Everybody is pinned. Or dead.
Yeah. and he is going to be following through the Jaegers now. Yes. Okay, there is one Comroti to try and stop these guys from completely folding like a cheap card trick. But really have enough time to push on through? The Jaegers are just a bit slow. He has no like half tracks or light vehicles which you can just yeet on up here.
But he doesn't really need to yeet.
He needs to yeet a little bit.
That's true. Maybe a small nibble.
Or he could just do a second barrage.
That works too.
Yeah.
And you know
very
what?
pinned.
The positioning for it, I think, is either nigh on prescient, or he has just a beautiful line of sight to that. Because when you think about it, your opponent's going to go and stack up a defense behind this flag, because that little point here, that little flaggy, right at that intersection, there's not a lot of material to the west of that that's going to be actually usable. So now you can probably think to yourself, okay, well, you know what? He's going to stick troops in any kind of garrison he's got left. So, you know what? Great call-in by Homer here, too.
Yeah, it's like a rolling barrage.
The off-map call-in artillery has been fantastic this game.
Yeah, from both sides.
Yes.
But unfortunately for Homer, he just does not have enough troops to really follow on through. He is committing with the push, which I'm happy about. But he needs a couple more Jaeger squads, which are being brought in a little bit too late. I think he has been very much focused once again up north and in the center, because he can't afford to just be fully investing down south. He's having to deal with these other bloody flanks.
And that's really been the biggest issue, isn't it? Is that while he's able to get local superiority, wherever he's not, he loses an awful lot, and because of that, he kind of, he's playing the little Dutch boy with the dike.
Yeah.
So, but I do have to kind of call it just the really, really great ideas. Just unfortunately, just the resources not in his favor for another 3 minutes.
No,
But he's got more and more surrenders.
He's not in a terrible position now in terms of points. It's only a -1 point bleed. He has lost half the tickets, but if he can get, he doesn't have great map position. So honestly, HerrRobert can potentially just hold what he's got and potentially win. I don't know. Probably for Homer, is just trying to break down south, like break through that town if he has another off-map battery.
Well, the problem though is that we got 2 Maxims coming in, and the PTRS just took out half of the Jaeger squads coming in as well. So I don't see this being necessarily the be-all, end-all push. But it's a really, really great idea as a push.
Yeah. And then looking in the center, HerrRobert is completely rushed up into that lung. He's got that locked down with Lee's as well. And same with the far northern hill. He is in a lovely position.
Well, there's been some death over here in the meantime. So one of the P-40s went down, courtesy, I think, of the Focke-Wulf. The Austin, and you can see there the other P-40 forced away by the ground fire. So the town, that was an awful lot of red a second ago. Jeez.
Yeah. They all got picked off. It's mainly just a lot of support guns in the town right now. I was seeing the R3 or B2 being brought in. There was a Lee. There was a lot of anti-aircraft fire, and that duck is a bit slow.
Yes, but the thing is, I think we're going to see far more likely that the duck, well, the hunting dog, laughing at us as that duck certainly does get away in this particular hunt. And there we go. He just quacks off someplace else. So
yeah, good for him. We're seeing heavy reinforcements down south from HerrRobert. Lots of more Skyer being brought on in to try and even out the odds. And then Homer, he just needs to commit more infantry here to make the push. He has, I believe, run out of off-map artillery charges. Maybe he's got one more. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 barrages with the 210.
With the central position, he has at least one more barrage, because he's using one right now on the lung, and there are certainly more holes in that lung than a smoker with emphysema.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good barrage, but he doesn't really have the forces to counterattack right now. The Lee, well, no longer is blocking that position, but even then, we got a bunch of Maxims being brought on in to block any German advances. And the P-40s.
Yeah, I was to say, the Lee goes down, and we have 2 P-40s that are like, aha!
you've angered America.
Exactly. And the Jaeger squad's going to pay the price for a good chunk of it. And the Hurricane, not to be outdone, yikes, doesn't really quite get the turn he's hoping for out of that. So the Focke-Wulf does get his bombs off, does get hit pound of flesh, but maybe not getting quite as much as he would have hoped for otherwise.
Yeah, and HerrRobert is starting to lead the counterattack down south into the town. If he does that, he's going to be in pretty much the good game position at that point, as well as Morskayas can very easily dig in.
You know, curiously enough, Homer, with a balanced income, doesn't really have a lot of C cards. I just realized that.
He only has the infantry. You're right. I think it's 28th Jager. You can't really afford to take like any of those thugs. You need one card in A and one card of B phase of the thugs, but you don't have a whole lot of anti-tank to begin with.
Oh my gosh! Wait! The Kubelwagen is doing it. It was just going across the lake. Oh, the Sherman Wagon! I love it. Oh, you missed it. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Oh, that's like the perfect getaway.
It is, and like one of the rare times we actually get to use it. HE-111 coming on in, kind of absolutely devastate with his daisy cutters.
But no, right? He has no like much to really utilize in C phase of the Jaeger division. Probably would have been better if he just ran like a Maverick income as well and just try to play our early game a bit more aggressively.
So I'd be interested to know exactly what the reasoning was there behind that one, but it just occurred to me. I was like, we should be seeing HE-111 goes down just due to ground fire. But there's quite a bit of ground fire. Yikes, I didn't even see we have 3 37 mils all populating the air there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a balanced income. You expect to see some more C cards in there. Maybe just getting an earlier income would allow him to keep pace or to, stem the bleeding a little bit more. We all know HerrRobert's an excellent player. Homer isn't too shabby either. Just thinking maybe he screwed himself with the income curve.
Yeah, and honestly, you can't afford to go like Maverick, Vanguard, whatever, with 28th Jager, because once C phase hits, you just spam Jaegers to hold the front line, and they're only 20 points scotch, and they definitely do hold their own. But HerrRobert just got some really good positioning up, and just all over the map. Yes. And as you can see, those like 126 is. I'm quite happy we've been seeing it more often because it is a bit of an underrated Russian division, but a very good run if you just don't have to engage a lot of enemy armor, because the Gornos and the Morskayas are a deadly combo.
And they're just deadly enough in terms of towards vehicles that you can't take them too lightly. So yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Now, we are seeing, I would argue, kind of the last hurrah over here for Homer. I kind of feel like this barrage is going to stem things for a little bit, but there's just so much red over here. The thing is bleeding.
Yeah, he just hasn't been trading efficiently down south, and he is paying the price.
On the plus side, since there's such a crimson tide, no matter where the artillery shells land, they're finding targets.
Yeah. I think we can take us to a ×2 at 23:35.
Sounds good. And yeah, guys, as we kind of continue to watch this roaring blaze of equipment going in and out, I'm surprised the Lees are as effective as they have been. Of course, we are going to see one of them going down to a Panzerjäger just as I make that comment. But yeah. This is one of those bulldog holds, I feel like, where it was an early bite by HerrRobert, that weird engagement to the northern side. I wonder how that would have gone differently had the 28th Jager not gotten completely devastated by that.
Yeah, if he could have got better positioning on that northern hill a little bit sooner, brought on some heavier artillery to try and rout out all the infantry, he probably would have been in a better position, but he didn't manage to capture any of the 3 major key points on this map, and that really just screws you over once you get into C phase. Even though HerrRobert has half the income, his map control is on point.
Also, there's a donation of 2 Jaeger squads, and a 3rd Jaeger squad's going to go down here in just a second.
Oh,
there's literally a Morskaya Pekota sitting on the road, and it's like a Russian checkpoint, like a war movie. Oh, man. But yeah, Jaeger squad, unfortunately, 4th Jaeger squad being thrown in there to kind of join their comrades in death. And now with BT7s charging to pick up surrenders. Oh my gosh.
Making the most of that Christie's suspension, Jesus.
Yeah, wow. So unfortunately here, Homer had some really, really good ideas. Unfortunately, I just don't think he had the execution to kind of back those ideas up. And HerrRobert, I think, just was able to take enough early advantages that that's just really hard to come back from.
Yeah. Pretty close on the KD. Honestly, I felt like HerrRobert was smashing a bit harder, but Homer managed to trade somewhat well in regards to KD. The kill was at P40. Good job.
Yeah, very well done. But outside of him, not that much killiness. I mean, there's one Lee that's killed up, a bunch of PBIs, but other than that...
Yeah.
And losses, Shchedrin did very well for himself. The Focke Wolf did it, okay-ish. Again, I'm trying to kind of maybe gild the lily a little bit. When it's really not that great. Theobald getting a lot of stress. I mean, the 210 off maps. If he had been able to get a 210 off map that would have given him a more impactful, more lasting impression. I mean that literally and figuratively. That might have been something that could have been, well, a longer term. A better thing in the longer term. So
I think what he needed was 211mm off map. He just needed a little bit of extra boom. Not too much. You might friendly fire if you go to 212, but 211 probably would have been fine.
Yeah, I agree. Any final thoughts there, sir?
No.
Well, folks, in that case, then, you know what that means? That means we've come to the end of our time together today. But until next week...
A sad time.
It is a sad time. It's always a sad time. But until next time, though, I will still be Conalwork.
And I'll still be Rangru, and you will still be taking it easy.
Take care.